What's up, guys? We're back with another week of game picks. How are you doing, Jamal?
Good, man. Been a crazy time, but doing well.
Nice. All right, so this week is a great week to be an ELF fan. This week, um, opposite to the previous one, I'm not gonna lie. The previous one wasn't a great week to be an ELF fan. This week is a great week to be an ELF fan. So, I think we get straight into it. What's the first game that you want to talk about?
I mean, after everything that happened last time they played, let's talk about Prague and the Panthers. Prague,
Yeah,
obviously, they just got blown out the week before.
yeah.
A little over their head with all the hype and stuff like that. But they put a whooping on the Panthers last time they played. So how do they bounce back from that Vikings loss? Heading into this week, they're at home. Panthers are going to be ready. I think the Panthers might have slept a little bit and may not have taken Prague serious, but they're going to be ready
Yeah.
for the Lions in this game.
Yeah. I think, well, from the post game interviews in Wroclaw in the first game between Panthers and Prague, the players from the Wroclaw Panthers were saying we got caught off guard. We just didn't expect such a good team to come in Poland and beat us like that. So, and all of last week, the interviews from Wroclaw were all, we're ready. We've been preparing for Prague. Like it wasn't even the last game, and they were already saying we've been preparing for this game. It's not even like preparation starts tonight. It was like we've been preparing. So Wroclaw is going to be a lot more ready, but I think Prague has to prove that they're a real team and they are here to compete this year.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, and they still got playoff hopes. So we'll see how
yeah,
like all that comes together. And Panthers have yet to be the team with a winning record, so they could be
yeah,
ready all they want, but they haven't shown it against teams that have proven to win in the league. So
yes,
it'll be
sir.
interesting to see. But I think Prague bounces. I think Prague bounces back. They're fighting for a playoff, like real playoff chances.
Yeah,
Panthers are fighting for revenge. So is I think the game's gonna be a lot closer, but I think Prague pulls it out.
yeah, and I think it's going to be huge for Prague to win this one because Prague is trying to close the season even without thinking about playoffs. Prague is having such a positive season. It would be huge to end up second in the East, right behind Vienna, instead of being like maybe even second, but like falling back closer to Poland would be kind of like Well, if they finish up like convincingly close to Vienna, second in the league, almost in the playoffs or even in the playoffs, that's gonna be yeah. I
Yeah,
think hand Warner the coach of the year immediately if that
yeah,
happens.
yeah. And I think the Panthers are gonna be ready for Willie P. So how does like everyone else around Willie P step up? Because they're definitely
True.
gonna need to step up in this
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's move on to. We have two matchups. We were talking before starting. We're so undecided for the game of the week. We're not picking this one, but it is a great matchup. It's Rhine Fire against the Nordic Storm in Copenhagen. Rhine is away from home for the first matchup between Copenhagen, well, Nordic Storm and Rhine Fire from Dusseldorf. What you have in your mind from this one?
Yeah, this is going to tell us a lot really about the Fire. I mean, we've seen Nordic in this type of game with Frankfurt, and we've seen the performance they put out. This is going to be the same type of preparation for that game. It's a lot more history
Yeah,
in this game in the young years of Nordic, but there's a lot on the line. There's a lot on the line. There's a division on the line. Two teams fighting for playoff chances. I think
yeah,
this game means more to the Fire than Nordic because if Fire lose, they're essentially done. If Nordic lose, Nordic cannot win the division and still have a chance of making the playoffs. That's the crazy thing.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
with two losses, so we'll see how it pans out. But this is the game we've been waiting for since they joined and since Jadrian and Glenn were announced, and we'll see how this pans out.
Yeah. As you can see from the game picks, I am the only guy to go with Rhine Fire to win this one. This is because, well, of course, Rhine Fire just had a bad loss against the Raiders Tirol, but I think Rhine Fire knows that their season is on the line right here, and they're gonna be ready, especially on defense. They're gonna be ready in a way different way that they were for the Raiders. I think they got caught off guard against the Raiders, and it was just a fluke game. It wasn't showing actually what the Rhine Fire are. And also, it's because I'm mad to the Nordic Storm for the performance they put up against Hamburg. What was that? Like, a win is a win. A win is a win. It's pro football, of course. It's never easy to win a game. You should never expect to, win by a big margin or anything. But that was bad, man. They almost lost against a team that looks done. Hamburg looks like they're falling back towards
Yeah.
the, the Berlin, the Enthroners, the Helvetic and Cologne type side of the side of the power ranking. So yeah, I think Rhein Fire is gonna come ready and pull off the upset, because it will be an upset in my opinion. The only problem that I have is there is a guy playing with the Nordic Storm that goes by the name One Way J, and he's gonna be wanting to win this one against Rhein Fire to prove, my move was right, I made the right decision, I'm better than Chad Jeffries, the replacement that you brought in. So, hey, all I gotta say is, Jay, don't go too hard. Chad, your job kind of is on the line here. I'm not saying it like that. It's not like that, but it kind of is on the line. Prove that you were the right replacement for Jadrian Clark. Bring a win to this Rhein Fire team. This is all I gotta say. What's your opinion on the North?
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Do we get Vienna Viking Rhein Fire, or do we get Tyrol Raiders Rhein Fire? Right.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how like this all comes together. But this is a proven game for like a lot of people, and Jadrian and Chad being two at the forefront, especially since Glenn's not there no more. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Credit Nordic to having some rust. But I think watching that game, at least in my power rankings, I've seen teams that have done more than Nordic against better talent, and that's why I had to drop them. But it's gonna be a good game.
Yeah.
I think Nordic bounces back, and it'll be interesting to see how it all pans out.
Yeah, it's crazy that we say Nordic bounces back, but they won. Like, they still won. Whatever.
Yeah, just because you're undefeated doesn't mean you're the best team. And
True. I agree with
right
that.
now, Nordic is giving similar glimpses of what we saw at Vienna in 2023, a team that went undefeated and lost in the semis. So we'll see. We'll see how it all pans out. But again, they got the best quarterback in the game, in my opinion, and this is Jadrian's league until someone takes it from him.
Yeah.
So we'll see
I
what
can
happens.
already see Jadrian writing down that comparison to the Vienna team that you just made. I can already see him writing it down and putting it up on his clipboard at home or something,
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, let's move on to the game of the week, because this is going to be a huge one. For First Out Magazine rankings, these are number 1 and 2. I'm talking, of course, about the Vienna Vikings traveling to Paris to face my right now number 1 team, Paris Musketeers. Shout out to Danny for Fourth Down Fiasco. He was not happy at all that I put Paris above Vienna. But yeah, I think it's just right in this moment, and Vienna has to prove that they are the top team in the league right now. After, they had a great bounce back with Prague, and they shut off a team that was red hot, but they still lost to Rhein. And Rhein doesn't look like as good of a team as Paris. In fact, they lost 31-7 against Paris. So, yeah, what's your thoughts on Vienna against Paris?
Yeah, this is a sexy game. Not even gonna lie to you. It's gonna be interesting to see how these teams, pan out, especially with where they are right now, and a lot of stars in this game. I mean, you got Jalen Henderson, you got Ben VP, obviously the receivers, Austin Mitchell, Noah Torre, Yannick Meyer's coming back. Florian Bierbarden's been dominating. Nicholas Kandar's coming into himself. Has the Paris O-line go up against the Vienna D-line and vice versa. Paris made some adjustments, bringing in Lance Leota and Marco Artis. Del Rio, right, coaching in a big game. This is a Paris team that's gotten better week in, week out. So it's going to be interesting. I think I'm going to take a cop-out. I think they split the series. So in that situation, I think Paris wins at home.
Okay, that's fair. So I'm taking Paris because my opinion, as I see it, is this is probably the top 2 defenses coming into this game right now in the whole league. Paris has, we've been documenting it for a while now. It's been documented for a while now. Jack Del Rio has done an amazing job at elevating even further what was already a good defense under Mark Mattioli. And of course, the Vienna defense, they showed it last week against Prague. Red hot team, and then you leave them with a fat donut at the end of the game. It's pretty impressive. So my opinion is it's going to be a lot like that surge game that I saw in week 2. I'm not saying 6-0, but it's going to be a very, very big defensive battle, It's going to be tough to put up points, even though these offenses are stacked. There is a lot of great players. You mentioned some already, but I think it's going to be a defensive battle. And when you go into deep waters playing defense against a guy like Jack Del Rio, he's going to scheme up something to beat you and stop you and, get those red zone stops, make those turnovers. And yeah, I think Paris just edges out of this one. I think it's not going to be like, they might even win by like 2 or 3 points, like something like that. But it's still, I think Paris just edges it out. Of course, all the other insiders don't agree with us. They're all going with Vienna.
Yeah.
And I kind of understand. Let's be devil's advocate. Why do you think somebody should go or would go Vienna?
Offensive firepower, to be honest. Great defense. They've showed it year in, year out, despite the competition. But Paris has done that too, and they've done that with a lot more competitive teams than what Vienna has been able to do it against. So, in the sense where this is the Vikings, real test against a top tier talent, Paris have done it against the Fire, they've done it against the Surge, they've done it against who we thought what Frankfurt was earlier in the season. So we'll see. But I can see it going either way. That's why I think it's going to be a split, and I'm taking Paris at home. Shout out to the Red Company.
Yes, sir. Well, let me be David's advocate and also giving you my player to watch. And of course, I want to hear yours after giving you mine. But I said it last week, and I'm gonna say it again this week. Vienna has one thing above every other team in the league right now, and that thing is called Florian Bierbaumer. This guy right now, he's red hot. He's unstoppable. He's freaking scary. Any defense should be scheming to stop him first, and then Reese and Meyer and Noah Torre and Kari and Ben Holmes himself and everybody. But you need to look out for Flo all the game, because he can find an opening, and he's like, oh, he's a big guy, I'm going to catch up to him. No, you're not. He's going to get it, and he's going to take it 40 yards for a touchdown. And before you know it, you're like, oh, I had everybody covered. No, you didn't. Florian's open. So that's my player to watch for this game. I think Jack Del Rio and the Paris defense are plenty good enough to be able to scheme against him and at least limit him, if not maybe even take him out of the game and force Ben to go to other options. But he's going to be huge. He's going to be a huge key player in this matchup. What's your player to watch?
Yeah, I like Bierbaumer, and I think Paris has athletic LBs that they can pair up well. Where you don't have to put a DB on them, but I'm gonna go with two homegrowns. I'm gonna go with Yannick Mayer and Anthony Mahungu. Whoever has the best game and the bigger impact will lead their team to win. That's what I think.
By the way, what a cheat code that these two teams have Yannick Mayer and Anthony Mahungu as homegrowns. That's freaking crazy. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. I agree. I agree with this pick. I really like your pick for players to watch. So the previous segment is an interview with Hugo Tekedan. By the way, if you didn't already, go back on Instagram. We're doing a huge giveaway. We're giving away premium tickets to this game, Paris Vienna. You get to go meet the players after the game and chop it up with them. So that's amazing. Make sure to join that. But yeah, Hugo said, in my opinion, the key to this game is executing on offense, because it's going to be a defensive battle. And if we execute on all, in the red zone and in general, we execute, everybody does their job nicely, we can outscore them. So who do you think is going to have a bigger impact in leading their team to outscoring the other guys, Mayer or Anthony Mahungu?
Probably Mayer, because he can do it on special teams. He can do it from the slot. He can do it from the X. He's kind of flexible. So Mayer is going to have more opportunities to do it.
By the way, both coming up on a short season, meaning they started late this season. So it's going to be interesting, who gets accustomed first to playing in these offenses. And yeah, it's going to be a really interesting battle. One of many. There's so many good players in this. You can honestly get blindfolded and just point at the rosters and you have a player to watch for this game. Honestly, it's so much star power. It's going to be an amazing game to see. So let's move on to the other question that I always give you. who's your must start in this week's fantasy football?
I wanted to go with homegrown, so I'm gonna go with Ito Molina, running back for Madrid.
Ooh.
I think
You
this is
think you think the Madrid offense is going to produce that much on
yeah,
rushing,
yeah.
or are you predicting maybe a garbage time, give the ball to Molina and run the clock out type situation?
I think they'll run the ball a little bit, but also Molina was the second person. He was second for receptions last game versus Munich, which means
Right.
one, reached trust him, but two, he's got the opportunities to get the ball in space.
Yes,
I think
sir.
against this, and Throner's defense, I think they can take advantage of that.
I'm gonna be a lot less interesting, a lot more boring, and say Aaron Cruikshank. If by now you're not starting Aaron Cruikshank every week that he's playing, you're a dumbass and you shouldn't be playing fantasy football because this guy is putting up 25, 30 at least every single week. So he's my must start player because if you're not starting him and you needed to hear this, you're hearing it now. You're a dumbass and you should start him every week. He's amazing. Yeah, so we got again to the end of another amazing Game Picks episode. Thank you so much, Jamal, for joining me again on this one. Week 9 is very exciting. I can't wait to watch all of these games. Everybody make sure to get in the giveaway for the Paris against Vienna game. We have, me and Jamal, something that's coming up next week. I'm not going to spoil anything, but something's coming up. And then and then, yeah, as always, subscribe, send this video to every family member that you have, every friend that you have, your principal at school. Send it to everybody that's around you so that everybody can see it, like it. Locker room, join the conversation in the comments, as Jamal always says in his video. Make sure to go on Jamal's channel too. Of course, Athletes Forum. Always great videos there. He gives you instant reactions in the weekend and everything. Always amazing. And yeah, everybody enjoy your week 9. Peace.
Enjoy it.